welcome back for another 4am video. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to look at creating this button as some sort of volume control, and also doing the actual bass part of the speaker itself. So we just throw that across there, back into here, and make sure you're in edit mode, Shift A, add a circle and scale it all the way down. And we're going to rotate once again, x-axis 90 degrees, okay. Turn our object around, grab it along the Y and bring it forward, back into front view, and let's get to work on this. So grab it along the Z-axis. Don't worry about if it's not in line or anything like that at the moment, we are going to sort that out. Shift S and cursor to selected. Scale that in and then grab it along the Z-axis. Okay, so there's the basic part of our actual subwoofer. Basically it's pretty much made already. So just possibly scale it down a little bit more, grab along the Z and bring it in there so it just fits in nice and snug to the same sort of shape as that. Now as you can see, just on here, move this over here a little bit. Now the circle does actually come above this line, but on here the circle comes above the line there as well, so that's exactly how we want it, so that's perfect. And then we need another circle, so we can do Shift A, add a circle, scale it down, rotate it along the X 90, okay, and then grab it along the Z, take it up, scale it smaller. Okay, so it's selected, bring it up to Z, a bit further, and scale it down. We want this just a little bit smaller, so that's probably going to be about right there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is see the best way to do this. So that outline there of the actual base is going to be this line here. So it looks like we're going to have to extrude and scale it in and then take it straight back out. Okay, let's do that then. So select our object, not like that, Alt, straight round, and what we should be able to do is, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold Shift and your middle mouse button just to move it around a little bit. If we hit E straight away, and then we hit Y, and bring it back a little bit, it's probably about right, straight back to front view, and then oops, we want cursor to selected and scale it in. It's going to be right, yep, scale it in like that, and that should be, yeah, that's exactly how we want it. That's brilliant. Okay, so now that's basically that part done. What we're going to do though is, just to give us the reference of the big extrusion of it, we are going to extrude along the Y, and we're going to take it back quite far. Possibly, yeah, we'll take it straight back through there. Okay, so we can see now that's actually our speaker part done. So that here is going to be this part. Now don't worry, obviously you need faces around here, but we'll sort that out later. As I said in the first video, normally, in the second video, that normally I would delete this face at the back here, but I like to keep it there just as a little bit of a reference point for myself. So let's get on with this one up here. What we need to do is we need to once again extrude and then straight away hit scale. Oh no, 1 second. We need to get the cursor selected again, and then extrude scale. I think that's probably going to be right there, so it's just extruding on the exact same line of where that is. It's not going back, it's not going forward, it's just extruding directly in. And then what we're going to do actually is we are going to move that back a little bit along the y-axis, just ever so slightly, like that. And then we're going to extrude. It's probably better though if go around this end and then extrude along the y, but go forward to create our actual control. It looks like a bit of a thick control, this one, so we'll do it that way, like that. Okay, that's great, and straight away we're just going to put a face straight in there by pressing F. So you can basically, I'll just undo that just to show you. If you have one selected here and one selected over here, you can hit F and it'll create a face directly between them. So if you've got this one, this edge selected here, and you hit Alt, select them all, and then hit F, creates a whole face right the way around it, as you can see from behind there. It's a good little key that I find to use that. Nice little shortcut, just creates a face straight across. We probably will be using that quite a lot throughout this whole tutorial. So yeah, now we've got our volume dial and we've got our actual base. So what we want to do now is we want to get that straight into line with this line here. So with your face still selected, press L and that'll select everything that is connected to that face. So that's the whole button there. And it can get harder when you try and move this later on, so that's why we're going to move it straight away now. And then G and Y, and we're going to bring that straight back in and see if we can get a bit of a better, there we go, G and Y, and the button is going to be sticking out, but we want not the first line, because that's actually the extrusion going in. We want the second line, and again if you hold shift, it will do it in very small increments just so that you can get it perfectly right. After you see the orange line just disappear a bit, I think that's probably going to be it. There we go. Okay, and that's perfect. So once again, Alt and right mouse button. It's going to select that whole part, and L it's going to select right the way through. So you can see it's selected right the way through there. And the way you do that to have a look on the inside is just hit 5, just so that it goes into perspective rather than ortho. But ortho is a lot better to work in, but you can use that just to have a little look, make sure that everything is going perfectly as planned. So again, always cursor selected. I'm going to hit G, Y, oh, I went wrong, apologies. Why is it? Let me just have a little look, see what's going on here. G and Y, yeah, that's it. I'll move that in. And now we want this front part here, what we extruded, we want that, I believe we want that probably sticking out just a little bit. We want it sticking out just a little bit. So Alt, right mouse button, L, G, Y, and back. So we don't want it out as far as the button, but we do want it out slightly. Actually no, we don't. We want it in line with that because we brought the extrusion on the first part straight out. So I think that's probably, yeah, that's going to be spot on that. So what you can do now, you could bring this through, but what I'm going to do myself is I'm going to use this back piece just to create some depth. Alt, right mouse button, and G, Y, and I'm going to bring this right the way back, right the way in, just so I can create some real depth when you look through. And this face is actually gone. So what I'll do is, if you do this, and I'll just delete this face for a second. Okay, and then see, you'll be able to see straight through there. If you take it out of there, there we go. Now don't worry about that for now. The space at the back there seeing right the way through. We'll sort that out. So Control and Z just to get my face back on there. Now I do believe that we can use a Boolean modifier to actually just cut this hole directly through and cut all this out. So I will be trying that, just not in this video right now. For now, I think we've created this part here. We've created the volume control, and we can probably create this little LED light as well. So let's just have a little look. Straight back into front view, Control and A, and add a circle. And then we want to scale it all the way down, rotate it on the X and 90 degrees, and then we want to scale it a little bit more, and then G and Z, and scale it a little bit more, cursor to selected, G, Z, scale. Just put it right in it, yeah, we do that there, and that'll make it a little bit easier for us, I think. And we just need to move this about just a little bit, just to obviously try and get it right. Again, apologies about the motorbike there, someone's really having a good time. Now this is actually quite small, so we want to be getting as small as we can. We have a look. It does do sort of an indent just above there, but I don't think I'm actually going to do that. I'm not sure. I'll have a look at doing that on a separate video just to create the extra detail, but that looks like it's pretty flush with this line here, this line, and this is all flat on this face here. So let's have a little look at doing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to create a little extra. You want to be in edge mode. Select that, Alt, that. We want to move in as far as we can with this little guy, and then we want to extrude along the Y just to give ourselves a little bit of depth. We can probably delete all those faces later on, but for now it's going to give us some depth and something to work with. I don't believe in doing things the hard way, so we do Alt, so we can select all that, Alt and the right, and then once again our F key gives us a little face. Okay, and then number 1 takes us straight back to the front view, and then we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 just by hitting number 6 on the numpad. And once again we want our little LED, our little blue LED. Need to press L to select everything, grab Y, bring that straight back, just with hold shift so you can get the incoming correct, and there we go, spot on. So there we have it. We've got our let's have a little look, bring this out of a photo back across. So we now have our shape here, which is this around here, with our main 2 lines, and as you can see where it's quite dark there, there is a little bit of an extrusion, which is why I've done this one here, although you can't see it very well on this picture. We've then got our main sub, which is the outline here and the outline here, and then inside there is another line just around there, which is our line here, and then the extrusion which goes right through is this part, which we need to get rid of this face for. We've got our little LED, which is this guy here, and we've got our control and our extrusions, which control and extrusion just there. So that's looking pretty good to me. Maybe 1 second. Okay, so back into this one. Let's see what else we can do on this one just for now. Okay, maybe go into front view. Just getting as close as possible to our little blue LED. And if you press grab along the Z, and maybe bring that down a little bit. Now just notice there that's actually a little bit off center. So grab on the X. I'm going to take that across a little bit just to make sure that it's all spot on, because we want to, hopefully these two lines are pretty spot on. Now what I can actually do is, just to make sure that it is spot on, click on this vertex here, shift, and on this one up here, press F, see, and then that straight line is perfectly straight, which is really good news actually. Go into face mode, click on our little blue LED, press L to select it all, G and X, and then we're going to bring it across just to make sure, holding shift for increments. That's going to be pretty much as best as I can get that. And we do grab Z and bring it down a little bit closer, and then what I need to be looking at is, remember what I said on this video here, on this picture here, it does show that this causes a little bit of an indent just on the top there where the circle actually is, just to counter the same shape as it. I'm just going to try that now, and hopefully I don't make a fool of myself on this, and this does work out. So I'm just going to G, Z. It's okay, it's not going to work there. So what we're probably going to look at doing is maybe creating a few vertices along here, and then creating it as a semicircle through there. Or when I actually use the Boolean modifier, I believe there is a way to just create a whole, when I move this circle down, this will actually go into the same shape as that. So for now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that edge, and what I like to do a lot just before I finish this video is Control and S to make sure it's saved, and then what you want to do is you want to select it all and just remove the doubles just over here inside the toolbar. So if it's hidden, just press T and remove doubles, and no vertices removed, which is really good. So I'm on 392 vertices, 640 edges, 252 faces. I'm pretty happy with that. You do try and keep it as low as possible, for if you ever use it in a game as a game asset or anything like that. So yeah, we'll leave it as that, and hopefully you enjoyed that, and you'll be back for another video. As always, if you like to like, comment and subscribe, that'll be great. Ta-da.